of what's going on. Today's living seems to be filled with stress, anxiety, and pressure. Everybody, in one way or another, apparently suffers from being alive in our present civilization. Although the causes of such conditions may exist in the world, alone determine how you're able to react to them. You have the privilege of allowing conditions around you to become the cause of problems within you or to rise above them. So, in other words, it sounds like this starts with a decision. You alone determine how you're going to react to stressful situations, situations with anxiety. You have the determination and you have the ability to deal with it, mind and body. It says it has been ascertained that the mental reactions you have to conditions about are responsible for specific bodily reactions. The longer a sustained adverse mental reaction is maintained, the more severe will become the body's reaction. I think all of us have experienced that. Have you ever been nervous about something and see how your stomach reacts? Have you ever held anger in you and you've been so angry that you started feeling sick? It's not worth it. You alone have to control that. And Willis Kennard points out, he says, the longer a sustained adverse mental reaction is maintained, the more severe will become the body's reaction. So your anger and your stress and your strain eventually attacks you. So you have to protect yourself. In other words, he says, your sustained negative mental attitude can and do become tangible as disease. You let this anger and you let this misery or let this stress and anxiety hang around long enough and it's going to become a medical issue. You're going to have a disease from it. Medical chronicles are filled with illustrations of the way the process occurs. And we don't want to be part of that process, so we don't want to entertain that kind of living, right? The body has no choice but to correspond in nature and function to the quality of your thoughts. Your body functions according to your thoughts, the quality of your thoughts. And I thought that was very interesting because uh, when you are mad or when are stressed out, your body systems in your body, your physical system breaks down and it starts malfunctioning. I think all of us have experienced that, and it's something that we have the ability to control. And no one is exempt. I'm going to read on. It says, if there's one thing you cannot do, it is to divorce your body from the body of your thought. You can't separate the body from your thought, they're interconnected. Simple illustrations of the way the heart beats faster as a result of a sense of fear, the way the stomach becomes upset with feelings of hate, and the manner in which the intestines behave with emotional all point out the unity of your being. All of this points out that your body reacts to your thoughts and your feelings. These are obvious occurrences, but there are many others which you are not so aware of, and all too often, extreme damage could be done before you realize the detrimental nature of the negative mental sprees You indulge in negative mental sprees. What is that? That's when you're not thinking correctly. That's when you're thinking negative thoughts. That's when you're thinking evil thoughts. That's when you're listening to bad advice and taking bad advice. Some of us do it and we understand that we're doing it and we do it anyway. Nobody knows you like you, and you have to know what works. And what works is truth. Don't stop living. You cannot avoid various problems that arise in the course of daily living. They are part and parcel of life and are to be squarely faced and adequately met. But in the process, you must always be alert to dealing with the situation objectively and not literally swallowing the problem and letting it create havoc within you. I once heard a story of being sealed in and out, being sealed within and being sealed without. Noah was built an ark, and he got word from God to build an ark because it's going to be a big rain. This was crazy at that time. They hadn't even had rain. The water used to come up from the earth. But while he was building that ark, he was jeered at, he was laughed at, but he made a decision to do it. And he sealed himself to the point that all the laughter and the jeering did not get inside of him. But he kept that thought and he kept that belief and he kept that truth that he received sealed inside. So now he built the boat and the boat was sealed on the outside so the water wouldn't get in. Yet it was sealed on the inside so that nothing could get through on the other side. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that you have to seal yourself within and without. You have to keep the stress and the anxiety and the pressure on the outside so it does not affect you on the inside. And you have to be sealed with the word of truth, the word of God on the inside. You keep that close, you keep that inside you, and you make your decision that you're going to ride upon the high places of the earth. You make the decision that nothing is going to get to you. Uh, there was a statement. I'm going to share this with you. A fond statement of mine. It says, "Nevertheless, get this now. Whether, nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal." And I thought it would be a pretty appropriate because it says, "The Lord knoweth them that are His, and He seals them." So if you have to understand that you are sealed, you belong to Him. He seals you as His own. And let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. That's a promise that He knows His own, and you're sealed to Him. You have to learn to keep things in their proper places. If you let an external problem develop into an internal problem of any of an ulcer, you have gained nothing, but now you have two problems instead of one. I just would like you to turn down your radio so that it doesn't disturb. We can hear the feedback. So we'd love you to turn that radio down. Okay. There's a place for problems. The problems you encounter in your daily experience are external to you. Leave them there. You can deal with them much better if they are out where you can see them. Properly appraise them and determine an adequate course of action. However, once you bring them into yourself, you find your mind becomes a turmoil. Your emotions are erratic and your body begins to malfunction. When you realize but your mind. An individualization of the one mind can transcend any negative experience you might encounter. Then you have a starting place for properly dealing with whatever problem you have. You approach it with the constructive tools of thought, which can correct it. So, what do we say? Don't let anxiety and stress get on the inside. Keep them on the outside where you can deal with them externally and take your thought pattern and make the appropriate adjustments. You keep them on the outside and keep your truth and your knowledge on the inside. That wisdom that you get from the one mind, that individualization of the mind, that universal mind. Keep your thoughts inside and deal with it strategically. Life is interesting. What makes life interesting are the challenges that you encounter. A state of continual bliss would be intolerable. You have your ups and downs, your joys and your heartache. Variety is necessary for an interesting living. But it is the negative extremes you need to avoid, and particularly those that you maintain for a long period of time. Life is to be enjoyed. You, but you will never have a chance. Life is to be enjoyed, but you'll never have the chance to enjoy it if you let yourself wallow in a bog of stress, anxiety, and pressure. These reactions are vital and necessary so that you may do and be the best that you are. But you cannot allow them to run wild. You have to keep a seal and a control over stress, anxiety, and pressure. A lot of times on the job, we get into situations that are very stressful, and if you keep a calm head, an even keel, where you understand that you're able to do all things, that you can tackle any problem, that you're the captain of your ship. You call the shots and you control your life, the atmosphere, and what's going on around you. You alone do that. And if you know it and you understand it, the more you do, the better you apply yourself. So I want you to think about that. Life is interesting, and we need to uh, live it in an interesting way. It's interesting when you're in control and you decide that you're going to allow things to run the way you want them to. You're in control. Do that and you'll see. Work with yourself. There are many pills and potions on the market today for minimizing or relieving extreme reactions to stress and strain of living. And some instances, they have worked wonders, but they mostly seem to be of very little value in correcting the external problem or individual's basic ability to properly meet it. The ability to live a normal, healthy life without the adverse influences of destructive emotional reactions rests in what you can do about the way you think. I'm going to read that again because it's major. It's probably the main point of tonight's lesson. It says the ability to live a normal, healthy life without the adverse influence of destructive emotional reactions rests in what you can do about the way you think. To properly face the problem situation, you must first face yourself. That's important. You to properly face a problem situation, you have to first face yourself and make the decision that you're in control and that nothing is bigger than you and that greater is he that is in you and he's sealed in you. So you keep the goodness in you and it emanates out. You take it in through that mind of God. You're an individualization of that one mind and keep that wisdom, that knowledge, that influence, that intelligence. You keep it inside of you and let it come out as it needs to deal with the problems that are at hand. If you can come to accept that mind, capital M, in its infinite wisdom, knows what to do about the situation in which you are involved, that you are rightly guided and directed in what you do and say relative to it, and also that its individualization as your mind permits of no destructive reaction. What am I saying? What does that paragraph say? It says that your mind and God's mind are working together. And if you can convince and believe and accept that you're rightly guided and directed in the right things to do by the omniscient mind, if you can understand that you are an individualization of that omniscient mind, things are going to go good. There's going to be no destructive reaction. At that point, then you can relax with a calm mental assurance and an emotional stability that will permit you to live as you should. That's what Willis Bernard is explaining in that paragraph. And that's what we want to take in and digest and use to our purpose and our betterment, right? Our advancement. The mental stimulants tonight are interesting once again. Science says, but whether he puts his faith in God or in creation, man realizes that his ultimate aim must outlast the moment. This should lead us through a meaningful, happy, active, and long life, steering us clear of the unpleasant and unnecessary stresses of fights, frustration, and insecurity. That's Hans Seelig. The philosophy stimulant, mental stimulant tonight says faith is the basis of your present world and lack of faith the source of our discord. So you have to have faith. You got to believe in what you're learning. You got to believe the promises, live on the promises. Willis Kennard is giving us the metaphysical aspect of this, and it's good and it's true. And if we practice these things, believe me, you're going to soar. And if you link it up with the Bible, First John says, "Whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith." So faith is the victory, and having faith and understanding how the laws of the universe work are going to put us in the right position. Once again, we've come to the session tonight where we learn to avoid anxiety, stress, and anxiety. And we're going to read the diet. I want to read it in the first person like I normally do. If you have your book, I'd like you to follow along with me. It's the diet. It says, I face life with calm assurance, a feeling of strength and security that enables me to discover a newfound joy. Gone are the damaging stresses. anxieties, and pressures I formerly experienced. For I know that the life that is at the center of my being knows nothing of these things, and it now guides and directs me in all that I do. Remember, at the center of your being is that one omniscient mind of God, that super intelligence. He is who is in you, leading you and guiding you. He created you, and you have the ability to exchange thoughts and be guided by the mind of God. Mental turmoil, I'm continuing with the diet, mental turmoil, emotional imbalance, and physical disturbances cease to be part of my experience, for I know them to be part of God, whose life I now accept as my life. I handle all things that need to be taken care of in an enthusiastic manner that is creative and good. All that is to be done in my daily life I do with ease and joy. With confidence, I know that God, to whom all things are known, makes known to me the proper thing to do at the proper time. I do not avoid living, but enter into living more enthusiastically. That's the second time that word has been used. Live enthusiastically. Live a life of joy and effervescence of power. For I know that the more I express life, the more it expresses itself in wholeness and completeness in me. I start to live anew, new in mind, new in feeling, and new in body. And remember that as you close out. In God, there is only good. There is no opposites, irritation, stresses, or strains. I now accept God as the source of my life and experience only harmony in my daily living. God shall be first in everything. God bless you, and we've come to the end of another session. We won't be on the YouTube tomorrow, but we're going to be having the lessons at 5:30 Eastern Parkway. You're all invited to come. The lessons will be going over at 4 o'clock, where we'll meet and discuss it. And you're invited. Matter of fact, you can come and spend the day with us because the service starts at 11:30. God bless you, and if you're in Brooklyn, stop on by. We'll be happy to have you. Spread the word, and see you Sunday evening.